Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Joy from She Speaks Too. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe. All right, so today I'm strictly venting. I'm just going to vent about my experience in Liberia. So just bear with me. I didn't write anything down. This video is just a build up of everything that has happened this week. So let me just get started. Okay, so we have two securities here that work for us at home. If you live in Liberia, it's best that you have your own security. You protect yourself. So the previous security just stopped coming, never called us, never told us why. That's a whole nother story. Previous security just stopped coming. We have a security that's been with us almost 2 years now. He's been our longest employee. I'm going to call him Tony. So Tony has been with us for 2 years and he has become our go-to person. He's become, you know, the person that we depend on. He just makes himself available, and he's compensated for that better than anyone because of how he acts, how good he acts. So we have just been depending on Tony. So anyway, the previous security quit. We asked Tony to please find us somebody. Tony brings us somebody from the neighborhood. He tells us, you know, the man is trustworthy, blah, 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 blah. So we trust Tony because he has brought people before. So we trust Tony. Tony brings this man in to be his security relief, because you can't have somebody working like 7 days a week. You need 2 people. So he brings this man in. We're going to call this man Bobby. So Tony brings in Bobby, okay? Or in Liberia, say Booby. So anyway, Tony brings in Bobby. So Tony brings in Bobby, and I'm impressed. Bobby seems serious. He's hardworking. So I don't have any issues with Bobby. But Tony, who brought Bobby, now Tony, member, is our longest working employee that we love, we trust, everything. Tony start having problems with Bobby. Bobby start having problems with Tony. Tony start having problems with Bobby. So Tony, who has been with us, says, I don't know what's wrong with that man, you know, blah, 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 you know, blah, you know, just telling us. And then Bobby's too having his complaints. But I'm not seeing any bad behavior from Bobby. So I didn't know what was going on. So we used to try to resolve it. Mind you, this was over a course of like 2 or 3 weeks when Bobby started. They were just having issues, but Bobby always presented like he was someone serious. So I just thought maybe Tony was maybe getting jealous a little bit, because we thought Bobby was serious and I don't know. So anyway, they're having issues. And so that was that. We kind of squashed the issues between the two of them. So Bobby shows up on Sunday, this past Sunday. And Bobby is the new guy. I call Bobby's name because I feed my security, I feed the house help. I was calling him so I can give him some food. His una rice and soup that the girl had cooked the day before. I had warmed it up in the microwave. I called him. Bobby went to the front. I called Bobby, went to the back, called Bobby. I said, but wait now, where is Bobby? So I called him on his phone. I said, Bobby, please come to the back. Bobby comes to the back, eyes red. He had been sleeping, like deep sleep, to the point where he couldn't even hear that I was calling him. His phone had to ring. I said, Bobby, are you sleeping? And mind you, he's been off for 3 days. He's been off for 3 days. I said, Bobby, are you sleeping? No, boss lady. I said, yes, you are. Your eyes are red. I said, please, you can't do that as security. You can't come. I said, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. You got here at 7 and you're in deep sleep. You can't do that. So he said, well, it will not happen again, boss lady. So something was just a little off when I was talking to him. But I said, you know what? He was sleeping. Maybe he's a little disoriented. Give Bobby the food. He said, we're not happy again. 2 hours later, mind you, we're still in the daytime. Oh, Bobby is knocked out. My husband goes outside and sees Bobby sleeping. He wakes him up, said, what are you doing? He said, oh, you know, I just bored, nothing to do, you know, nobody to talk to. So my husband was like, you can't be sleeping like that. So my husband doesn't know my previous encounter with Bobby that morning. So I tell my husband, I said, I just had a talk with him about the sleeping thing. Then my husband says, you know what? I think he's drunk. And I said, you know what? This morning something was off and I couldn't put my finger on it. Sure enough, Bobby is pissy drunk. You've been off for 3 days and you come to work as security and you're pissy drunk. He turned off the generator in a way that the lights were flickering because his hand wasn't steady. And so we just started putting 2 and 2 together. that he's drunk. Sure enough, we confronted him. He is like pissy drunk. So we called Tony, who is off. Mind you, Tony is off. This is his day off. He said, Tony, we got to pull Bobby out of the yard. He is drunk. I paid Bobby and I just told him to go, and Tony came on his day off. Tony is the one that's been with us almost 2 years. He came on his day off. I said, Tony, Bobby is drunk. Bobby has to go. He can no longer work here, because it is one thing for you to get drunk the night before and still have like residual drunkenness, but he was fresh pissy drunk. And Bobby even found that he had liquor that he brought here in the yard to keep drinking. So in America, you would say he's an alcoholic, you would say he needs help, that all of that applies. But when you come as security for me and you're supposed to be protecting me, you're supposed to be watching out, I don't care, you can no longer work for me. Get your help somewhere else. It just can't be here. So we had to fire Bobby, and I was so disappointed because the whole time I thought he was someone serious. You know, so that was the first thing. I thought he was somebody serious. So we had to let him go. You can't work here. You can't be security. There are times when I'm alone in the house with my daughter. And if something happens, I can't have a pissy drunk security. That just cannot happen. So that happens. We fire Bobby. Tony comes. So Tony comes immediately. It was his day off. He comes immediately, and he will be paid extra for always going above and beyond. So Tony comes, he says, I have another guy that we had interviewed before. He said, let him come, Ma, he's good, he's good. So I tell him, bring the guy. So he brings the guy. I come home that evening, because I do work now. I come home, and I can tell you about my job later on, but I come home from work, picking up Sienna from school. The new guy is here. I come home, Tony comes to the car, you know, he helps me with my bags and stuff. I said, but who is that back there? He said, that the new guy. And we're going to call the new guy Michael. He said, that the new guy. I said, but Michael, you can come, say hi, you know, speak. So Michael comes, the new guy, he's older guy. Michael gives me full military salute and says, at your service, sir. Number one, Michael has never been in the military, and I'm not a sir. So I just said, I said, Tony, is they man drunk too? He said, no, he hasn't been drinking. But that's how scared I was. I said, Tony, I mean, full military salute. So anyway, that's what's going on. So we have a new security. His name is Michael. Started because Bobby decided to come to work pissy drunk with his alcohol to continue drinking. So that lets me know that he's not serious. So this is the stuff that I be talking about. People pray for jobs in Liberia, but they don't want to work. They pray for the job, but they don't want to work. The second thing that happens, I have my previous house help. She is on maternity leave, and she'll be gone for about 4 months. She took off a month before the baby was born because, you know, it was getting too hard for her to do everything. And then she'll be gone for 3 additional months. So I needed help, because if you live in Liberia, you'll understand why you need house help. If you don't live in Liberia, don't ask me why I need house help. Just know that I do. So the new house help comes, and she said that she has done this work before, but I can tell that she hasn't. So that was not true. She didn't know what a sink was, and there were some hygiene issues, and so I didn't even want to embarrass her. I bought her the things that she needed. She said someone stole her phone. I bought her a new phone. So basically, I just kind of wanted her to feel comfortable here. So she's working for me, but there was just something about her. If you keep hearing a squeaky sound, the door is opening and closing. But there was something about her that, you know how you just don't take to someone to hear, but you just, and we're missing our previous house help who's on maternity leave. So I was thinking maybe I was comparing her, and maybe that's why my spirit wasn't taking her. But anyway, she started the middle of February, got paid February 28th. Then she worked the month of March. So March 31st, which was Friday, I paid her for March, gave her a full check, added a little bit extra than what she deserved. So March 31st, she worked. Saturday was the 1st, so she works like a half day, like she leaves at like 11, so she can go home and be with her family. There's nothing to do here on Saturday. So paid March 31st, Saturday, she worked half day, and then she would come back Monday morning. I'm getting ready to go out of town on Monday morning. She calls, she's supposed to be here at 7, about 6:05, I get a call from her. I left your key, because she has a room key here. I left the room key in the pantry, and I was so confused because I'm getting dressed to go out of town. Sienna's lunch is not fixed all the way. She comes and she helps, because usually I do that stuff, but I'm leaving to go out of town, so I'm depending on this person, because you know your husband can act like newborn baby, he know where anything is. So she calls me. I said, the key? What key are you talking about? The room key. The room key is in the pantry. So she got paid on the 31st. And by the 2nd or the 3rd, the 3rd, which is Monday morning, she quit. She was done. This is a person who didn't have anything. The one paycheck that she got, she just doesn't want to work anymore. So she called me, and if she had left on Saturday and told me that she wasn't coming back, or even if she didn't feel comfortable telling me face to face, she could have called me when she left Saturday, because then Sunday, I've lived where I've done everything for myself. I could have fixed Sienna's food. I could have made sure Sienna was ready because I was going out of town. But I'm leaving my house at 7. I'm just getting up to get dressed, and you're calling me at 6:05 to tell me you're not coming. I don't think that's fair. So these are the kind of things that you go through in Liberia. She got paid, and she just, whatever the reason, maybe the money seemed plenty enough to where she didn't feel like she needed to do it again. That's how she quit. So when you hear people venting about Liberia, take pity on them, because as much as the people need help, they also find ways to mess up a good opportunity sometimes. Not all Liberians, I'm not speaking for the whole country, but I'm speaking for the things that I have encountered. You have security, he's getting paid, he's getting money, and you decide, not only are you drinking, is one thing, maybe you are drunk, but then you decide to bring your liquor because you want to continue drinking at your boss's house. In America, that is unheard of. That's a human resource issue where you can't be at this company anymore because it's dangerous to yourself, it's dangerous to the company. The other woman quits without notice. That's something you don't do either. And if she wanted to quit, she knew she left the key a certain place Saturday. So just call me when you leave on Saturday. I would have prepared myself amply for Monday had she told me. So this video is strictly for venting purposes. I just got to get that out of my chest. Sometimes people in Liberia say they need so much help, they need this, they need jobs, nothing going on, but then when they have it, they can mess up a good thing. So that's it. That's the story. End of story. This is Joy from She Speaks Too. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe, and I will see you later.